Hello again, YouTube. Truth Man here. So it's kind of early, but I'm doing this for Stretch. He made a content by request. He wanted me to break down life as a correctional officer. Now, I know people think everything I say is getting ready to be negative, and it's not. Anytime you spend 14 years doing something, really, if you want to count the little time in between that I was quitting, I done worked at far as straight correctional facilities, not security, just straight correctional facility that I worked in the field 3 times for a total of 14 years. And more than likely, I'm probably going to do the work again. And for some of the reasons that I'm going to mention, you'll see why. But normally, I don't linger on. Like, if it's not to my satisfaction, not to my benefit, I quit. Now, only one time I quit without it being like a definite reason involving the job. And that was the first time. I just was relocating, trying to do some things from a business and the ministry level. It wasn't nothing to do with what I was experiencing. I was making good money. It wasn't no major issues. So the first time it was just relocation. The second time, which after we get into the pros and cons, we're gonna get into some more story time. But the second time, it was because they just was being unfair. And partly in my mind, I thought that they were trying to be fair. But what happened is the agency hired somebody that was in our facility, but not necessarily back there with us. So he didn't really understand like we do. So they tried to save me. And really all he did was give me a 30-day probation. But I'm finna show you something. The 30-day probation, what made me quit is because it came at a time where it was a lot of back and forth. Where, okay, this is how it was. And y'all know I'm the truth man. I'm gonna lay it all out there. What was going on was this. And this is what you would deal with in corrections. We're gonna get into it. Is sometimes when you do your job too well in corrections, these guys ain't no dummies. They'll figure out ways to try to get you in trouble. Like if they can't manipulate you, they'll manipulate the people around you or the people with authority over you. That's what happened. Even their parents was manipulating the superintendent at the time. Now, if this current superintendent was in there, none of that, it wouldn't even went down like that. So they really was giving me my way on a lot of stuff. They knew, because I had worked there before for many years, that I worked at the same facility twice. Like I said, the first time I quit, it wasn't nothing to do with nobody. It was just relocation. I just wanted to relocate. The second time, it was because the way I think, you're not finna tee off on me. And I was, okay, I'm just gonna keep coming to work. Nah, not me. That ain't, look, everybody not the same. Like I've been telling people lately, they keep saying that garbage. Just do your job and go home. The world is different now. That's outdated philosophy. People don't even like you when you do that. A lot of people, the current people, they'll make up all kind of stuff on you. Just unfair stuff. They'll be calling you all type of stuff that's just not true. So The second time, they were giving me unfair evaluation. Now keep in mind, I'm the most experienced staff on the shift because I worked there like almost over 7 years. And 7 years in corrections is like working a job 20 years. I worked there 7 years. I relocated. I kept in touch with some of the people. I wanted to come back. I came back. They gave me my job back because that's just the superintendent that's there right now is just a solid dude. Like people try to talk about him. I wasn't trying to hear none of that. I'm not trying to hear you because I go by how they are towards me. He was always solid with me from day one. Just solid. So when I first started, he was a supervisor and he just continued to work his way up. And now he's the superintendent. And so he was trying to be, picture him. I never held it against him because he trying to be right down the middle with his supervisors and with me. Now, this is how it was. They brought in, see, I was supposed to apply for that job. And me and him was talking about it, and I believe he would have gave it to me. Because I was familiar with everything there and with the people there and so on and so forth. I just never applied. He hired somebody from that facility that I just recently quit. And they have a certain mentality there. And she's a likable person, just like a lot of them are. But the mentality in that facility is different from the mentality in the one I came from. See, the mentality in the one I came from, it's like people didn't pick. Like if they had something to say, they said it to you in front of everybody and you could say stuff back and that's the end of it. And even people that was on probation, they're less harsh on people on probation than that facility I just left. That's how people on probation at the other facility are able to get off of probation. Whereas there, they will fire you, like literally over if they don't like you or they don't like you that much, or you ain't in the sex club, like I ain't sending people pictures of my wang dang doozy. There's a lot of women there. And let's be honest, some of them are indeed attractive. But like, it's like this is how it was. The guys like, the lieutenants and sergeants was getting fired and getting in trouble for sexual harassment. Like literally, like I know the Me Too movement and stuff, but literally this stuff was indeed going on. And I believe, I might be mistaken, but I believe part of that was why they did me like that when that fight broke up. Like you just never know which one's doing it. Like he could have, I don't know, he could have liked it, the one who came in first. Because see, this is what I found out. The sergeant that came in first was telling people she was married to keep them off. I don't know if she is. Maybe it's like a no marriage license type of thing. But it's looking like she wasn't. Real nice. That was one of my favorite people there. Nice, respectful. Well, get on you. See, I can handle people getting on me. If you getting on me to help me, or you getting on me because you being fair and respectful toward, I can handle that. She done got on me a couple times. But the way when she got on me, it was different. And y'all know all the stuff I say about women and stuff on here, but I'm fair about it. I'm not going, oh, she's a woman, so I ain't gonna listen to her. No, I don't do that. If I'm there and they're a manager, I'm not gonna be like that. But here's the thing. So back to what I was saying, it was 6 supervisors at the time. They brought one in, the job I was supposed to go for, from there. She's a likable person, attractive, but that mentality, she brought it from over there. I'm telling you, man, I'm being honest about it. And even her colleagues say it. But they the type, they think different than me. I'm not finna keep working no job, just going back and forth and all that. Never have. But they like, especially when they were supervisors like her, man, they couldn't tell her nothing. So and she brought her daughter with her. Now her daughter she brought a little bit of that mentality, but not as much. But she had ways that people didn't like. A lot of people like her, some people didn't. Like I didn't like really hate her per se, but here's another thing about corrections that people gonna see. When an inmate is loyal to you, it's like almost like having a friend. Like they gonna come tell you when this person talking about you, and they be lying. Don't listen to that. Now you take into consideration what they say, and you investigate. That's how I know I could be an excellent manager, because I'm gonna be more diplomatic. Like I'm not gonna just I'm gonna listen to what they say, and I'm gonna investigate. So her daughter was even staff was coming back telling me, and that's another thing. Staff plus inmate equals confirmation. I don't F with him. We was real cool at first. Then everybody coming back. I don't F with Howard and all that. I ain't never do nothing to her. Me and her mother had the back and forth, and the only reason why we had a back and forth, because she was being at the time, I don't know how she is now, but at the time she was trying to be too lenient towards those guys, and was like trying to break what we had been doing there for years. Giving restrictions, phone calls, giving bad guys snacks and stuff when they disrespecting staff and doing all kind of other stuff. So she brought that mentality from over there, because I noticed from the 8 months I was there that some of them was a little too lenient on people they was familiar with. Like the guy that got in the fight, everybody liked him. I liked him. I made him a porter, which was in part of the reason why he fell out with the other inmates and that whole thing happened. See, he was going by what I always tell him. I always tell him that. And what it was is when they porters, they call them swampers in the prison. But when they porters, I told them, any extra trays, it's up to you what you want to do with them. If you want to keep them all, keep them all. That was how I did it. They was getting mad at him because sometimes it'd be like 3-4 extra trays, and he like, I'm gonna save some money. I'm gonna keep this. He'll put it in his bowls. So they was mad at him over that. But a lot of them do that. Everywhere I went, I told them that. And so he got into it with a guy. So a couple times, and this dude was like, he was like a reformed gang member, stuff like that. He got into it with the other porter. He said, I can't work with him no more. So I fired him because the dude made a deal with another inmate and gave him his tray thinking it was extra. So it was a big thing for me to get another tray, all type of stuff, man. And because he gave his tray away, because sometimes they'll be like, they could trade in there. Like the other facility, they weren't supposed to trade. But there they could trade, they could do all kind of stuff. So he gave his tray away by accident or whatever, or he might have did it on purpose and stuff. And they had words. So I made another guy deport him. Well, the night before he had to fight with the other guy. It was a guy in the corner, a white guy, Latino or some fair skinned dude. I think he was white. They had words over because he wanted the extra tray. He didn't give it to him. So he got to talking crazy to him and they got into it. Well, the guy he got into it with was cool with the guy he eventually ended up fighting. So the phone is the main thing in there. They keep telling us, oh, have a phone list, have a phone list, have a phone list. But then the more so-called seasoned officers wasn't doing the phone list. They say, well, you just do rolls, keep track of. That's not a phone list. And the captain knew this. He told me out of his own mouth that he knew people wasn't doing the phone list. But the reason why he tried to come down on me was because I was still on probation. They treat you like dirt when you're on probation over there, the second facility. If they don't like you, you're not military, tattooed, get your hair cut every week, they don't like you. All in the sex group, going out to bars with them, they don't like you. You ain't got to do nothing to them. And it's not all of them. It's not. But I knew. I could tell you the ones who liked me or didn't care either way. I could tell you by name because I'm good at reading people. The third shift supervisor, I ain't have a problem with none of them. I believe they all liked him. And if they didn't, they didn't let it get in the way. I was going to go to third shift. But they had got wind on second shift that everybody trying to go to third shift. So they start like blocking it. And I even heard a conversation a few days before I quit with the third shift captain talking to a second shift sergeant. She was like, y'all need to treat y'all people better. And because they knew how it really was there. So he told the other guy, I'm smoking this one. They call it smoking the phone. Like that means you're going to be on the phone for a while. And he got mad because he used to be like polite. He never argued over the phone. He'll just wait his turn. Now, sometimes I let him have the phones. Like I used to tell him. And the reason why I was doing it, because he told me he knew people. See, at first I wasn't doing that. But when I talked to him, when he got on me about a check that was kind of running late, he told me he knew that people wasn't doing the phone. And then, like I told y'all, the sergeants, they'll be like, I ain't doing no phone list. Then they'll come back later. You got a phone list? I got tired of all that. I said, man, skip that. I'm doing what I want on the phone. If I want to have a phone list, I'm going to have one. If I don't, I'm just going to keep track and let them have the phone. When you let them have the phones, it was easier. You just had to watch and make sure that they was being fair, letting everybody get a chance. But everybody wanted you to do it like that, including the dudes that didn't get on the phone that much or didn't want trouble from the other inmates or whatever. They all preferred, because it was more peaceful. You just let them get on the phone. You can keep track. Okay, roles. This number to this number, y'all on this phone, this number to. They only fought because they was gonna fight anyway. But he was trying to write me up, and I told y'all this story many times. And the only reason why I could care less about that place. I don't miss it. I don't give a F. Sunday, y'all. But the only reason why I keep bringing this up because it's so many lessons that I learned in that time there that I can help y'all in these videos about women, them correctional women, used to work in corrections. Y'all better be paying close attention because women don't recover from things they do. They could not even got penetrated. If they was getting touched and doing all this other stuff, that's going to be the equivalent of everything else. And they ain't going to be able to pair bond either. They'll be holding grudges. They're going to mess their relationship up. So all that low body count, that's it. No body count. No doing anything. First time getting touched was marriage. That's what you want. But most of these women ain't like that. That's why we tell y'all not to get married. But y'all know how I am. I get off the street a little bit, but no, I'm making a U-turn because I'm never lost. So let's get back on this correction thing. So the person they brought from the other facility was giving me bad evaluations. And she had got cool with the one that I knew for a long time. And I noticed the one that I knew for a long time was starting to act a little different. Like it was a situation where they got to the point where they was trying to downplay everything I was saying. I'm telling you, it'd be little stuff like this that be getting in the way in correction. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna do 2 parts to this because there's so much in this. Y'all could thank Stretch. Where the guy, one of the supervisors, I was cool with him. But where he was messing up, and I had to tell him, what we talk about, man, don't go talking about that with these women, man. Because they'll use their position and they'll be doing a little shady stuff. You be like, wait a minute, what's this? 2.3 out of 3.5? And y'all, look, I'm telling y'all, they would bring the kids that nobody else couldn't handle to my pods. I kid you not, you can ask anybody that worked. If I gave you the name of the facility, you would know everything I'm saying is true. The kids they couldn't handle, they got tired of or disrespect them. Yeah, I'm gonna show your ass. I'm gonna put you over there with Howard because they knew that I'm not gonna take none of that garbage. You ain't gonna come out. You gonna stay on this restriction. But then they give me a 2.3 out of 3.5. That was because they didn't like Trump. I'm finna show you. They knew I was a Trump supporter. They was using that and having a problem with me over that. That's one thing. Then they knew the stuff that me and him was talking about. He going back, well, he said this. Like, oh, we think he is some kind of pimp or something. That kind of stuff. Then they start doing little undermining stuff like them evaluations. And one time they had went back to the previous year to write me up. Like when I had the C thing. And I didn't use FMLA, I just used sick time. They went back to that and gave me a write-up. Now keep in mind, you bringing your bad kids to my pod, but then you want to act like these new people, and I'm not even harsh on new people. I just know the reality. They ain't gonna do the job like me. I was teaching them stuff. And a lot of them wanted to work with me because I treated them better. Like one dude even told me, man, You quit it. I'm finna pull one of your moves. He ain't even want to work there no more. Cause me and him was real, we was cool. And he like, man, if this place ain't good enough for Howard, it ain't good enough for me either. He ended up quitting too. Because people, they know I was telling the truth about a lot of stuff. Then sometimes the truth will make you free. You start to see. You start to see it. Just like I told another guy that used to work with us there, I told him how Texas was. I said, Texas is a wonderful place. People nice, everything respectful. They ain't crash out all over the place. It's just the main issue's gonna come when you go to work. And that's what happened to them. They just got on all type of bull crap with them. So they were giving me those bad evals, and that was pissing me off. I ain't gonna lie, excuse my language on the Sabbath, but that was getting under my skin. Because I would think about, and even the superintendent, when he was deputy at the time, he was like, you trying to tell me that this person is better than, he was looking at all the evals. And he agreed with me. Then what really got under my skin is when they tried to argue with me and explain it. And I'm telling them to their face, y'all going by what people come to tell you. She was going by what her daughter was coming to tell her. But what's crazy is her daughter was trying to run her pod like me. But then she coming to tell her, why Howard doing this? Just snitching all over the place. Why he do this like this? Just had to act like. So there was one guy that's still there. He was like one of the alphas. I'm an alpha, he an alpha. They try to make us bump head. But when he saw that they was doing that, me and him got real cool. Like we worked together well, and we had a situation. He had my back, man. Like at first I'm like, man, this dude act like he got a problem with me. But when we had a situation, he was so professional about it and such a team player, it's like my respect grew for him. My respect grew for him. And then some of them, I came to the realization, these dudes young. They're young. They might try to put themselves on my level, but in terms of my mindset and maturity, they're young though. So I start being less, like when they do little stuff, I start being more patient. But them evals, and then what happened was, and I told y'all this, the guy did all type of heinous acts, right? But then tried to come in there like he was running stuff. You don't take out nothing they do on them, but you don't let them come like they running stuff either. Like when they try to forget what they did and try to act like they running stuff, you got to figure out a way to remind them without being unfair. So, and I'm gonna do another part to this. Watch both parts. That's why I'm not uploading the second part until I got my 50 view rule. But this guy comes back in there after doing all of that to that woman and think he gonna tell me what to do. And when he first came, he was on defense anyway. I said, man, you back in here that quick? What you worry about what I do for? I said, hey man, listen, you ain't gonna win. Told him flat out, like if you think you finna just pounce on me, you ain't gonna win. See over there, you could talk a little bit, but I kind of went too far with it. But I'm gonna show you. So we were giving them iPhones during the pandemic, and he tried to hog the iPhone from the other guys that was in there. They looking at me like, So I said, hey man, your time up. They get 10 minutes, but I gave them, because there wasn't that many of them over there, I said, okay, I'm going to give y'all an extra 5 minutes. I'm going to give y'all 15 minutes. 15 minutes, I called them. Hey man, your time up. Nurse comes to the door. Well, we'll pick up on part 2.